The following opinions are solely those of BoatTEST.com and its test captain.
Hi, Cab Steve for BoatTEST.com, and this is Formula's 34PC. Small enough to be easily handled, but large enough to make good weekends away. Let's take a look and see how Formula has done.
New for 2017, Formula has made major modifications to its stern platform and cockpit to give the boat much more functionality and to make the aesthetics even more attractive. Let's start at the swim platform, which has been nearly doubled in size. Now it's large enough to be a teak beach, launch all sorts of water sports, and even hold a tender. The swim ladder is hidden below the platform and well away from the props. A robust stainless steel rail around the edge makes an ideal handhold for swimmers and performs double duty as a tough fender when docking. Note the drink holders for people sunning on the deck or swimmers cooling down on the water. At the stern quarters we find a handy Formula branded cleat and shore power connections. Along the transom are courtesy lights, LED stern lights, and 2 speakers. To port, we find a hot and cold shower and handy hose connections to quick flush the engines with fresh water, something we rarely see in class. Another big change is that the lounge seat backs now swing fore and aft. When forward, they turn into an aft-facing chaise lounge. When in the normal aft position, they form a cozy lounge in the cockpit. When we lift the sun pad, we find stowage for fenders, dock lines, shore power, cables, and the like, plus a dedicated holder for the cockpit table. The port side wet bar is concealed under this attractive gray molding. It contains a sink with faucet and a refrigerator below with a pull-out drawer. Also below is the handy house battery switch, the breaker panel, and a trash container. There are even 2 USB ports. When the seat backs are swung aft, they form cockpit seating. 1 or 2 pedestal tables can be inserted when serving lunch or cocktails. To port, there's a bench seat with storage under. The helm and the whole front of the cockpit dash on this model continues the gray surface theme, which looks classy and cuts down on glare. Now, let's rejoin our original video.
The hardtop's an optional feature on the 34PC, and it really makes a difference between your guests enjoying a day in the water and enduring a day in the water. It includes 2 hatches for ventilation, LED lighting, and 2 stainless steel grilled speakers up forward. Now, let's take a look up at the bow where we have sun pads to both sides, and they even flip up to form chaise lounges in multiple positions. But we've also got a boat that's quite a capable weekender, so let's go down below and check out the accommodations. Well, we do have a spacious cabin, and a couple of things have been changed for this model year. Looking at this aft cabin, plenty of available seating. Naturally it converts to a berth. There's a flat screen TV over in the bulkhead. This works nicely in conjunction with the main salon, and notice we've got ultra leather, high and low, with a suede lumbar support. 2 tables, there's room for a third to go in between, and when you do that, they can be lowered to form a berth. Over to the port-hand side is a galley, and the Korean theme continues. New color for this year, bourbon cherry. Oh look, at Formula went with a glass panel here, and notice the downlights shining on the stemware. That's a classy touch.
The rest of the galley has the usual features building on Korean counters. Below is dry storage in the deck.
Moving forward, we have an island queen berth with stairs to both sides giving easy access, opening port lights, and a hatch up above. To both sides, we've got mirrored cabinets that house cedar hanging lockers. Formula went with a vacuum flush toilet as standard. The theme of Korean countertops continues. There's a stainless steel single basin sink, opening port light for ventilation, plenty of storage. Now let's talk about operations, and we'll start with the daily engine checks. The switch for the engine hatch is located right at the helm. Well, we've got a good installation with a pair of V8 big block 8.2 mags, 380 horsepower each. Taking a cursory look around the engine compartment, I can see all of the hoses are double clamped. The batteries are secured properly, and the positive terminals have covers on them.
Just ahead and under a day hatch are the battery switches with the generator just below.
At the bow, there's a hatch. Over the concealed Lumar windlass, there's an all-chain rode, 250 feet of it, running out to a through-the-stem anchor roller. Polished stainless steel anchor. Washdown, 2-foot control switches. There's also a handheld remote control. And the remote control spotlight, all of it together is standard. Oh, and I love the lift and lock latch. The helm seat is double wide for a second set of eyes looking forward. Both have individual flip-up bolsters.
At the helm, the 2 fuel gauges are just above a 7-inch vessel view display, and we have a hybrid touch display in the middle. The Axios joystick is to the right, along with the Bennett trim tabs and the DTS controls.
So let's get underway and see how this 34PC performs.
With the 380 horsepower 8.2 mags turning Bravo 3X outdrives, we reached a top speed of 48.3 miles per hour at 4,900 RPM. At that speed, fuel burn was 66.3 gallons per hour, giving us a range of 135 miles. Best cruise was measured at 3,500 RPM and 32.5 miles per hour. That speed reduced the fuel burn to 31.9 gallons per hour, giving our 34PC a range of 189 miles and an endurance of 5 hours and 48 minutes while still holding back a 10% reserve. Time to plane was 4.1 seconds. We reached 20 miles per hour in 7.1 seconds, continued accelerating through 30 miles per hour in 12.8 seconds, and reached 40 miles per hour in 19.8 seconds. Upon acceleration, the bow comes up 10 degrees, which does block the horizon briefly, but once on plane, she settles into a 6-degree bow high attitude. As is typical with an 18-degree dead-rise boat, I found her to be a little sensitive to weight distribution, but nothing a couple of shots of trim tabs couldn't manage. And being outdrive powered, just a couple of shots of up trim on the drives had her running at her optimum cruising angle. In hard over turns, she leans a maximum of 23 degrees into the turn. More sedate handling had a relaxed 17 degrees of roll. Of course, she also handles well around the dock. She turns well at low speeds, and maneuvering into the dock is as simple as reaching for the Axios joystick. Remember though, the joystick is at the setting on the DTS control, so you may want to tap the dock button to slow the responsiveness down a bit. I found the directional control of the Axios to be spot on, allowing for nearly surgical accuracy, even with a crosswind blowing. It's just an exceedingly easy boat to handle, so don't hesitate if there's concern about stepping up.
Well, it looks like Formula hit the mark with this 34PC, and that's my full test and features walkthrough. For BoatTEST.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.